krūze var saturēt sevi ūdeni.
So it's not as if once things don't inherently exist, then you know, we realise that this world we live in is somehow unreal or something.
Un tas, ka, ja mēs runājam, kad lietas nepastāv neatkarīgi, tas nenozīmē, ka, teiksim, mums apkārt esošais ir kaut kas pilnīgi nereāls.
But sometimes when you meditate on do I inherently exist or not, you know, you start thinking about the nature of existence and am I really there or not, and you know, I can't find myself amongst the parts. So at a certain stage you might come to the idea, oh well, surely I don't exist at all. You might even think that.
Bet var gadīties arī tā, kad meditējot par šo neatkarīgas eksistences neesamību, kādu brīdi var pat sāk likties, bet iespējams, ka es vispār pats neeksistēju.
But that's, you know, that's sort of, that's not the correct way of looking at things. It's just you have to experiment with all these different possibilities when you're doing the meditation like that.
Bet tas nav pareizais veids, kā skatīties uz lietām. Vienkārši mums ir jāeksperimentē ar dažādu veidu meditācijām.
Yeah. So we should talk a little bit about the actual reasoning then, maybe, unless you have a question or anything. I mean.
Varbūt jums ir kāds jautājums. Ja ir, tad jautājiet droši.
Jautājums īsti nav, bet ir tas tā pārdomā, kur bija tas piemērs, ka Pīteri, tas cilvēks, kurš varbūt uz spriedumēm izveidoja, tā cilvēka acīs, tas tāds nav, bet varbūt tas, ka tas Pīters ir zaglis, tas jau ir aizgājis no plašākā publikā, un to jau vairs tā kā atbūt vairs nevar.
So it's not like a question, but like a comment on the example which you mentioned about Peter, who was considered mistakenly as a thief. So artist's comment was, so maybe the person who understood that he is not a thief, for example, Sandra, she understood, yes, he is not a thief, but maybe in such a situation, that reasoning that Peter is a thief has gone further, and so maybe you cannot take it back because it has got further. Maybe it kā ārpus varbūt par konkrēti centra sienām.
Tas tā kā izliet ūdeni, pilnībā vairs nesasamās.
So it's like an example when you have, kā ir izliet? If you have, you spill the water, you cannot get all the water back.
Into the glass.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true, but
Jā, tas tā ir.
She'd have to apologize to Peter at least.
Nu, kā minimums Sandrai vajadzētu atvainoties Pētim.
Kāpēc man Džušrīs sauc par iekarotāju?
Question is why iekarotājs, manuprāt, pirmajā?
Pirmais pants, otrā rindiņa.
Man šķiet, ka šī tad ir Helmuta kļūda, es skatījos. Daiga asks why Manjushri is called conqueror. I think translator has made a mistake here, because in Latvian you can translate it in 2 ways, and I think he hasn't used the right word, because I just yesterday looked into the dictionary. So you can vēl tulkot conqueror 2 veidos, kā iekarotājs un kā uzvarētājs. Viņam vajadzēja lietot vārdu uzvarētājs. Man liekas, ka šeit ir conqueror, the first meaning which is in Latvia, you know, conquerors came to America, you know, they conquered the country. But here it's used in meaning as he overcome, he was a victor, like he got a victory, like in this meaning.
Yeah, so it's not a victory over an external enemy or another country.
Yeah.
It's a victory over the internal delusions.
Tātad viņš neiekaroja kaut kādus ārējus ienaidniekus, bet viņš uzvarēja savus iekšējos maldus. Tātad, principā, tur tad ir neprecizitāte.
You know, conquest over the mental defilements, you see.
Citiem vārdiem sakot, tur tad varbūt var runāt arī par iekarošanu, bet es gribētu teikt, tomēr precīzāk uzvarēšanu savu prāta, teiksim, kaut kādu aptumšojumu uzvarēšanu, tā būtu droši precīzāk.
So he's conquered over death.
Tātad viņš ir nāves uzvarētājs.
Conquered over all the imperfections, you know, he no longer has to have an imperfect body like ours, which causes suffering.
Viņš ir uzvarējis šos, he has conquered, can you repeat, please?
Well, it's conquered over the aggregates, as sort of say.
Tātad viņš ir uzvarējis savu ķermeņa sastāvdaļas agregātus.
So it means he is no longer subject to being born into unsatisfactory bodies like these that are easily feel suffering.
Un tātad viņam vairs nav jāpiedzimst tādā ķermenī kā mūsējās, kurš ir pakļauts ciešanām.
And the king of all the evil forces, when Buddha is sitting under the tree, just in the final stage of getting enlightened, the king of the evil forces brings all these temptations to him, isn't it? There's these sort of beautiful women and stuff.
Tātad brīdī pirms Šakyamuni Buda sasniedz apgaismību, ļauno spēku karalis sūtīja viņam dažādu veidu kārdinājumus, kā jūs droši atceraties.
And the Mara, that's the evil one, Mara says, you know, and what right have you got to get enlightened? Who do you think you are, you know?
Un tātad šo ļauno spēku karalis sauc Mara, un viņš uzrunāja Budu. Ko tu iedomājies, kādas tev ir tiesības, teiksim, sasniegt šo apgaismību?
So that's why Buddha's touching the earth. He's calling the earth to witness that, you know, I've done my time, sort of thing. You know, I've put my hours of meditation in. You know, this is now is the time. You know.
Un Buda tajā brīdī pieskarās zemē un piesauc zemi kā liecinieku, kad es esmu ieguldījis ļoti lielu darbu meditācijā, un tas mans brīdis ir pienācis.
So then the king of the evil wants us to back off, you see.
Un tajā brīdī šim ļauno spēku karalim vienkārši tā kā ir jāatkāpjas. Un viņš atzīst savu sakāvi. Un Buda tā kā ir, var teikt, ka Buda ir uzvarējis arī viņu.
Right, so we're not going to have time to meditate on this reason tonight.
Šovakar mums nesanāks par šo tēmu meditēt.
But we should say something to introduce it.
Bet es vēlētos kaut ko iemetināt, teiksim, ievadam priekš šīs meditācijas.
And maybe from tomorrow we can start trying to meditate on it.
Un no rītdienas mēs varētu sākt meditēt par šo.
But you know, during the talk on the Four Noble Truths and the Four Seals, we sort of mentioned it and brought it up, so we've started on it really.
Bet jau